Hello and welcome back. It's been a fucking while, hasn't it? Been a little bit too busy to do these long videos that we tend to put on YouTube, but I thought it was about time. So here you go. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how a lot of my artwork comes into being, how it turns into book, what is in my books, what that's applicable for, and possibly which one you should buy in case you're in need of some Nordic-y, Viking-y, Iron Age artwork. Right, so first of all, we currently have 5 books. I'm going to try and go through them and explain a little bit about what, why and how. But first of all, I figured I would talk a little bit about the content of them. See, each of the books have some historical content minus the one with the Viking tattoo artist in. I'll get to that. The 4 other books have a lot of content that's historically related. A lot of it is reimagined, a lot of it is new, and a lot of it is quite clean cut to the bone from the Iron Age, Viking Age. But just to explain a little bit, for example, the way that I work is I take an artifact, for example this beautiful stone that Adam possibly can zoom in on. Then I decide that it's a little bit too scraggly, so I add a terrible sketch line on top of it in blue, because I need it. And then I draw on top of it an outline, and voila, there's an actual design based on a rune stone that is very, very easily applied by you as a tattoo or as a carving in leather or wood or whatever the fuck you want to do. And in all honesty, I have an iPad full of this stuff. I have several iPads full of this stuff and a lot of sketchbooks that focus on this. This is 12 years of my life that has gone into creating stuff like this, and it started becoming books some while ago. I think we're closing in on a couple of years since we did the first one, but let's dive into them, shall we? So, Viking Art Volume 1 has a lovely god mask on it that is based on the Netstovo god mask from Smolensk, Russia. It's a beautiful pendant, and in it you will find a vast variety of designs. Now, there's quite a few god masks in here, as you can see, but there is also a lot of everything else. This one is, I would say, a good starting book, a good starting point, because it has quite a lot of worms, quite a lot of wolves, quite a lot of mixed animals, birds, boars, and so on, but it also has the god masks and some symbols. It's a very versatile place to start your journey in Nordic Viking artwork, and that is what it is for. This was my first mental regurgitation of art that I've collected over the years. It's a good place to start. Then came Volume 2. Has a lovely neath hook on the front. That's what I believed it was. It's a wormy beast. It has that because it has a very specified chapter in it about worms and how to make them. It starts with elements where you can find heads, legs, and if I can twist this thing open, tails, so that you can easily make your own beasties. It does also have god masks, it has ravens, wolves, and so on, but it just has a heavier focus on worms than Volume 1. Because it made sense to make it a little bit thematic. There's also, in both Volume 1 and 2, lots and lots and lots of historical artifacts that have been re-rendered. Some of them have been changed and modernized to be more suitable for tattoos, but in general, it's kind of like a 50-50 between artifacts and modern designs, modernized designs. This leads us to Volume 3. Big fuck-fatting Fenris on the front cover of the flippin' book. Say that quickly 10 times. I even said it wrong, so fuck that. This one, of course, has, ta-da, claws and heads. How are they? Heads to use for wolves, claws to use for wolves, and with a bit of luck, a bunch of tails to use for wolves. And if Adam will be kind, he'll add in this little video that I did, this time lapse on how I draw from these elements and I create a worm so that it's well illustrated for these volumes on how to use them so that you can create your own artwork. It again has lots of god masks, lots of historical artifacts. There's some really cool pieces from the Table of Horns, for example. Fucking brilliant artifacts. Isle of Lewis chess pieces, lots of ravens and other weird beasties and animals. Basically anything you would want for your own craftsmanship, tattoos and so on. And some of it is for small pieces, some of it can be blown up and made into massive pieces. This lovely fox could be used for an entire leg piece if you so wanted. If I had the space for it, I would probably put it on myself. That sums up the 3 art books. Onwards to the nerdier things where I had to write a fuckload of stuff. This book, called Runes, Sigils and Bind Runes. I had to dredge through a lot of my literature and through my mind to create this book. It holds tons of information about the sigils of the 16th, 17th century from Iceland and thereabouts, which is a different type of magic. It holds lots of information about the entire 24 Elder Futhark, and then it has buck tons of bind runes. Unbelievable amounts of bind runes that are made, that are easily applied, easily used for whatever the hell you, well, not for whatever you want to use them for, because they actually have purposes. Each of these are defined. For example, this, which is a sigil for guarding a location. It also has a ridiculous index I made on the variations of combining letters. So for example, this is variations of daggers, where you have daggers bound with all the different runes, so that if you want to have your initials or someone else's initials, first and last name combined, they're all in here. Every fucking one of them. And believe me, because I got to nerd out so much on the things I knew and things I didn't know, and through it all, yeah, I basically just holed up in a room and created this crazy piece of work. And it is all very applicable for tattoos, artwork, craftsmanship, magic, and modern rune work. So I can highly recommend that one. And now, see, lots of these are made for tattoos. So we kind of needed to have a book about tattooists, because there's so many of them out there. So we wandered down this daft path of finding as many Nordic tattoo artists that we could and popping them into this compendium of artists, so that you, no matter where you are on this fucking planet, can find yourself a skillful Nordic tattooist and get them to apply either my artwork or their own artwork on your skin with the talents and capacities that they have. This is part of a larger project of trying to promote these beautiful, brilliant artists out there to make sure that they get into the limelight and get fame for the skills that they have, and so that you can get good tattoos. Because, well, I've seen enough bad Nordic Viking tattoos and I'd love to see more good ones. And therefore, we're trying to push these people forwards towards you. They're all brilliant and deserve a spot in this book, and you should seek them out. And that about sums up what these 5 books are about. I hope that you have found the knowledge that you might need to choose which book to get, if you want to get any of them or just get the bundle. Get a lot of them and nerd the fuck out and be happy. That's up to you. And yeah, that's it. Fuck off.